This video, I'm going to show you the 3 signs that we are about to go through a massive shift in consciousness. I'm going to share with you how you can become aware of it and how this will change our lives. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 signs that we as a society are going through this massive shift in consciousness and what you can look for, because you'll notice the signs if you're aware. And even right now, there's so many different signs that this is happening, but it's the main reason that I think there's 7.5, almost 8 billion people on the planet right now, is that so many people want to be here for this shift in consciousness. This shift in consciousness that is happening right now, and that will continue to happen as time goes on. And a lot of people may not be aware of it, but if you notice, people are popping like popcorn as far as spiritual awakening. It's like happening a little bit. It's like when you listen, if you ever put popcorn in the microwave, which I don't use a microwave anymore. I've transcended the need for microwaves. But when you put popcorn in a microwave, like it'll start off, there'll be like 1 pop. Then there'll be another pop, and then there'll be pop, 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 but then eventually it's like pop, 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 pop. It's like that. Well, we're at like the stage right now where it's like pop, 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 to almost being pop, 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 pop. So we're right in between that sweet spot right now. And as you look around, you may notice it. You may notice that some people are staying fast asleep to who they really are. They're like, no, that spirit's a spiritual nonsense. I like to watch this episode of this show and that's all I care about. And there's some people that will remain there for a while longer, but as time goes on, the light quotient on the planet is increasing. I know it sounds like a new age term to say, but the light frequency is increasing on the earth and it's causing more and more people to go through these shifts in consciousness. And some people that are going through this, by the way, that I notice even in my own life, are people that I never would have really thought would go through this level of shift in consciousness. It's incredible. So I'm going to share with you some of the signs and some of the things I noticed, because when I went in 2012, when I went through and started my shift in consciousness, it changed my whole entire life. I went from somebody that had ADHD, somebody that had that of a lot of emotional pain. I had a lot of emotional resistance. I felt like I couldn't be myself. I had to be someone else. And after my shift in consciousness, after I realized the real purpose that I'm here and the real purpose that all of us are here, my whole entire life shifted and I went to somebody, then I turned into somebody or became somebody or whatever, I don't know what word we would use. That was totally different, somebody that could observe my thoughts. I started to feel higher vibrational emotions. My vibrational set point went from like a 3 out of 10 to like a 7 out of 10. I felt high majority of the time. That's a shift in consciousness. And it's not like I became enlightened. I'm sure there's much more beyond the 1 out of 10 scale that I talk about. However, my whole entire life changed. And I remember walking around my room like, what is this? Why do I feel so different? Is this gonna go away? And it never went away, it just became my natural set point. It just became like, it wasn't so ecstatic, it's like more just aesthetic. It's like more static now, ecstatic now. So this shift in consciousness that I've went through, and I'm still going through different layers of it, there's always more, is something that many people are going through on the planet right now. And one of the things that spawned it was when I started becoming aware of the spiritual aspect of myself. I started to go deeper within myself through meditation. I started to become aware that I'm an eternal spiritual being living a temporary human experience. And the only way you really know this, because some people say, how do you know this? If I look at science and I look at what is provable, then they give a whole bunch of reasons, the level of reasoning. But when you go within and you start to experience a level of spaciousness beyond anything you've experienced before, it's not something somebody can tell you, that's not real, it's not scientifically proven. And you can go, okay bro, whatever. I've experienced it for myself. So one of the things though that I came across back in 2012 was something called the Law of One, also called the raw materials. The Law of One, or the raw materials, is channeled works I don't think a channeled works, Aaron. Whoa, that's kind of weird. Channeled, it's a higher vibrational stream of information that came through a lady named Carla, who her husband was I think like a psychologist or a doctor, I forget. But they too, he would like ask questions and his information would come through, and it's a whole bunch of different type of questions. And it's considered some of the best channeled work and channeled material of all time. But reading it, there was such a high level of resonance when I was reading this. It's kind of hard to understand, like some of the languaging of it is a little bit less like, oh yeah, that makes a lot, it's like you have to kind of dig into it. But it talks about this thing that really resonated with me, and it's called a harvest. Right now on the planet, and since 1980, there's been something called a harvest. This harvest is that of a harvest of energy and a harvest of vibration, where many of us are like seeds on the planet, and we have the potential to sprout and to evolve our consciousness. And right now what's happening is the vibration is quickening on the planet. You could say that the seeds are being watered and fertilized in such a powerful way that we have this potential to go through this harvest. And what this harvest is this harvest is a shift in consciousness. It's a shift in consciousness. And what they talk about in the book, and the law of one is, could say it's a higher vibrational race. 6 density is what it's termed as, is what they refer to themselves as. 6 density, it's more of a unity level consciousness. And what they talk about is that right now, there's many different souls on the planet that are going through this shift in consciousness. And as the harvest happens, there's more and more potential for people to shift into that. And a lot of what the harvest has to do with is becoming what is called 51% to others rather than to self. Now I think that the numbers, I think that's more of a metaphor. I don't know if you can say, oh, you are only 49%. You do not harvest. You will not harvest. You will not ascend. Think of harvest as ascension. But in general, ascension is something that's been happening on the planet for a long time, but I've been aware of it since 2012 when I went through my awakening. And the main reason that we came to this planet at this time is to go through this ascension of vibration. To wake up to who we are, to wake up out of the autopilot mind and into this state of consciousness of who we really are, of understanding reality is so much more flexible than we thought. That we can change our reality depending on changing our level of consciousness or changing our thought. And one of the signs that we're about to go through this massive shift in consciousness is there's so many channeled materials coming out, like the raw materials, like Bashar, talking about this information. Bashar says, well, if you've ever studied Bashar, he says that one of the ways his civilization makes contact with planets is in the beginning, they have to do it in a certain way that wouldn't scare off the people. And the way they do it is they have people that channel their energy to explain this. Because imagine if ETs were to land tomorrow, many people on the planet would be freaked out because they've been conditioned to be afraid of that. Back thousands of years ago, it may have been much more normal. But now, that would be something that would shock people. So what they say they do is they incarnate on this planet, and when they incarnate on this planet, then they can channel different versions of themselves, their higher self, through to relay information. That's what Bashar Darryl Anka is. Darryl Anka, his future version of himself, channels through him and then explains this. And one of the things he explains is that we're going through a massive shift in consciousness and that we came here for this. And having all these channeled materials to me is a sign that we came here and that we're ready for this shift in consciousness as it continues to happen. Now the second thing I want to share with you, second sign, has to do with the work of Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon, she was a hypnotherapist who founded some technique that's called QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. There's also many different variations of this. Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And what she was able to do is to get people to the deepest level of brainwave activity, where then their higher selves would come through. And as their higher self would come through, you could then ask it questions. And these people sometimes they wouldn't even remember it. They would come out of this trance-like state, and there'd be this recording of their own voice saying things like, I didn't say that. But they don't remember because they were in this deep level of the subconscious mind. And some of the questions she would ask is, why did you incarnate at this time? What is the purpose of you having this life with your this person in your life, your dad, your grandma, your whatever, the significant other. What past lives do you have that are relevant? All of these different things. And the subconscious mind or the higher self would answer these questions. Now, she has had this technique when she was alive as well. A lot of people still practice QHHT. It's a very kind of popular thing in the realm of past life regression. However, she was traveling the world and she would get similar information from different people all over the world that she would go and put these people into this deep level of hypnosis. Someone in Germany, and then she would go to someone in Australia, then she would go to somewhere over here in South America, and they would all say a similar thing. We came here, me as a soul decided to come here because I wanted to be a part of this shift in consciousness. Many, many, many people all over the planet are saying this. And the reason being is because we wanted to experience this jump in vibration. From what I understand, never before has this happened where a whole planet has had the ability to ascend into a higher level of vibration. Now, like I said, it's like popcorn, so some people are popping earlier than others. People that watch my channel most likely are some of the first to pop. Other people will come along as well, but as you pop, through resonance, through osmosis, it triggers other people to pop. Because it's an energetic vibrational thing, and as the vibration continues to increase, it happens in an exponential type way. So, this is when we also become aware of what are called star seeds. We're more multidimensional beings. We exist here right now, but we also have existences in different spheres and different realities. Different spheres of reality, you could say. And more people are becoming aware of this. More and more people, if you've seen any of my starseed videos, and you'll kind of know what I mean. But nonetheless, this is something that we are going through now. And it's something that will continue to happen, is this shift in consciousness. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this video go out on a day that the shift experience is going live. So if you're watching this right now and you want to know how to go through this shift in consciousness, you will see a link below to join a webinar where you can have and understand how to go through this shift in consciousness, what to do, and then also a live shift experience that you can experience as well. So this shift in consciousness is, the shift experience is finally live. I know it's been since January. I've been talking about it. So go ahead and click in the top of the link below and you can join that webinar. And in general for this, just understand that when it comes to shifting our consciousness, it's really about letting go of an old way of being that doesn't serve, the autopilot mind, and then being in the high vibrational state. The truth is, we are high vibrational beings that are dreaming we are these 3D physical humans, but what happened is dreaming we are these 3D physical humans, we got lost in the game, we got lost in the illusion. And what we've done is we've all come here to help wake each other up. Because that's the way that we can most influence this reality, is we actually have to incarnate into it to then wake up. We have free will here. This is one of the few places in the universe that we go that we forget who we are, so that we can then remember who we are. Now the third sign that we as a society are about to go through a massive shift in consciousness is that look around, you'll see almost everything around you may be falling apart. The old has to fall apart before the new can rebuild. So it's like the old government. It's like, this doesn't work anymore. Well, it has to fall apart. Well, financial system, there'll be new ways of doing things that are going to be emerging over the next 10, 15 years. And it's because the old has to fall away before the new can come in. Now, this is, I was kind of talking about in a collective type way. Think about it even in a personal way. A lot of people that have been through spiritual awakening have been through some very painful things. Because that pain causes pressure to then go out and not identify with so much the illusion. In the same way, you may notice some things falling apart around you. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe somebody just, something happened in your relationship. Maybe something is happening with your family. Whatever it is, it's all perfect because it's happening so that you can go through this shift in consciousness that is happening right now on the planet, and then it'll change your whole life. And as it changes your life, you'll see that you relate to people in a new way. You feel a more expanded state of consciousness. And that eventually as well, you raise your vibration to where you feel more blissful than you've ever felt in your life. But you have to integrate some of the things that haven't been integrated yet. And I know it can feel painful. I know sometimes it can feel lonely. But it's all a sign that we are about to go through this shift in consciousness. And it's happening now because we've decided to come here for it, and it's happening now because it's the time of awakening. It is the, what do they call it? What is it called? Is it the time of the Great Awakening? Could say, we should say it's the Great Awakening. All right. So if you want to join the shift experience, you can go ahead and join the free training below. And I'll show you how to shift your level of consciousness. It's finally available. I revealed SHIFT, which is the key to shifting your level of consciousness. You'll see it in the top of the description box. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more videos like this, let me know. Also, push the notification bell so you can see the daily vids. The way YouTube does it now is you actually have to hit that in order to see the daily vids. And I got a lot more good stuff coming. So, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.